Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. Today we're discussing the Porsche design dashboard chronograph in titanium. You can see this 44mm automatic chronograph and purchase it on our website. And if you enjoy these videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also click on the card in the upper right hand corner of the screen at any time to see our full listing for this watch, with accessories included, high resolution images, and naturally complete pricing details. Now, 2014 marked the end of an era. From 1997 to 2014, Porsche design and Eterna of Grenchen, Switzerland, actually the parent firm of ETA back in the 1920s, had a contract to co-develop sporting watches, mostly chronographs, using Porsche design lines and Eterna's manufacture know-how. Now, Porsche design for much of this period, from 97 to 2011, actually owned Eterna, so there was a fantastic symbiosis of design and manufacturing quality. The watch is 44mm across the round of the case, not including the crown or chronograph pushers. From lug to lug, one might say there are two ways of measuring the watch. It's actually 51mm if you just measure the edges of the case itself to their opposite number on the other side. But if you measure the outermost outcropping of the bracelet, and you can't fold the bracelet down completely, so it does have a little bit of a flare to it, so to speak, and you can see that to good effect from this angle. If you measure the flare of the bracelet, you wind up with a very substantial 58mm lug to lug. But thanks to the titanium, the watch wears light and wieldy on the wrist, and it is 15mm thick, which isn't overbearing when you consider the slanted bevel of the case flank with the conical bezel. You can actually slide this one underneath most tighter sleeves or dress cuffs, and it really comes into its own with a sport jacket or a blazer. Again, because it is entirely titanium, the watch weighs a lot less than it would otherwise in steel. Because of its proportions, it's definitely designed for a large wrist, but it will not be uncomfortable on a smaller one. And a big reason for that is an artfully designed clasp. Double deployant, it doesn't have that one big up and over fold that can pinch a smaller wrist, and because it does have twin trigger release, it's not friction fit, it can't pop open accidentally, so it has superb security on the wrist, and also a nice low profile when it's buckled, such that it keeps the lines of the watch clean and keeps the bottom of the bracelet less subject to desk diving injuries and insults. Porsche design made good use of satin finish throughout the watch. You can see it on the bracelet, you can see it on the bezel of the case. There really are no polished elements to this watch, so it seems to be in a perpetual state of mild glow, almost like a low-burning ember in the late stages of a fire. The watch has fantastic reflectivity, but it's not brilliant and blinding. It's not kind of fool's exhibitionism. It's more of a jewelry accent. The watch has a handsome gleam, and it accents this beautiful multi-planar dial. This is about as sober and traditional as chronograph dials get. You have a beautiful Rayhaut stepping down through a sort of slanted minute track that provides easy tracking and reading against the chronograph seconds hand with its red pip. You have gorgeous red, black, and white tritone. That is the classic sporting combination on chronographs dating back to the 1950s, intended for motorsports use, and thanks to a Valjoux 7753 caliber, you can see the date pusher adjuster on the flank. The whole movement's been rotated so that the watch has that same symmetrical tri-compax chronograph layout, made famous by watches like the 1960s Rolex Daytonas, especially the Paul Newmans. And that's one of the handsome kind of knockdown consequences of using the 7753 rather than the more common 7750. Now, the watch does feature all of the underlying benefits of the 7750, including hacking seconds, such that when you pull the crown, you stop the balance, and you allow precise synchronization to a known accurate reference time. Now, the crown is a handsome piece in its own right. Like everything else on the watch, it's understated but deliberately styled. There is no default design going on here. And on the case back, you find that that's also sort of the philosophy that guides every aspect of this Porsche dashboard chronograph. This is a ETA 7750, perhaps 2 grades above entry level. Now, it has a balance that's either top or chronometer grade based on the flared arms, not the straight spokes of the balance. Straight spokes mean lower grade, either standard or elaboré. Top and chronometer feature flared spokes, and flared spokes are present here. The degree of finishing, too, with perlage across the bridges, certain mirror-polished elements, and a very interesting Porsche wheel-styled winding rotor spoke, just immensely above the standard of finish that you see on most 7750s. Handsome and actually fun to look at, and that's not universal across Valjoux 7750 based calibers. It has 25 joules. It's unidirectional automatic winding for high efficiency replenishment of the 44 to 46 hour power reserve. And although it is a driver's watch, that's not to say it has to stay high and dry. It's actually a bit of an amphibian with a screw-down crown. The watch actually has 100-meter water resistance, so you can actually take this one swimming with the crown screwed down in good conscience this summer. So if you're still sweating from the 24 hours of Le Mans, go take a dip in the French Riviera. This watch is good for both. You can see it and you can purchase it on our website.